What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mona with Juniority, coming to you with yet another amazing episode. My guest today is 14-year-old Kalhiya McNair. She is a magazine editor, and she does not have a permanent address, so she will be joining us from Columbia, South Carolina. Kalhiya, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So good to have you. So before we start the show, I want to tell the audience a little bit about how we met. I got an email back in June saying, hey, we want to feature you on our magazine, and I replied back and I think I said, oh, can you send me a link to your magazine? And you did. I looked at it, but I didn't know you were 14 when I was looking at the magazines. And I think I saw a biography on the first page of your first issue, and I was like, wait a minute. So I emailed back and I said, hey, are you an adult or are you, a young person? And you wrote back and said, I'm 14, and that was a shock to me because it was so amazing to see and to find out that a 14-year-old young lady was behind all of that beautiful, magnificent work. And so that's how you ended up on the show. And you actually did a feature of us in your third issue. So thank you very much. That was fantastic. I absolutely loved it.
It's a pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about yourself.
I am 15. My birthday just came. I had 3 younger brothers and my mom and my dad. I am a world schooler. I was homeschooled by the age of 13, I want to say. I just came out of 7th grade when I started to be homeschooled. I am currently starting college. I am working on my bachelor's in communications. I'm excited for the future and what will happen.
It's amazing. I'm glad it's going wonderful. So tell me, what inspired you to start She Won?
It all started with books, actually. I love books. I will do anything to read. I read all day. But I wanted to start writing books. So I wrote a couple of small novels, I guess you could say, that didn't actually get published, just for my own benefit. I then moved on to writing articles. I tried to write an article for a magazine, but I didn't know what they were looking for. So I started to look at their past issues, and I noticed that there was only one person of color. And that was not a great feeling for me because we are not really presented in the media. So it really hurt. And so I came up with the idea of making my own magazine for people of color so then they can be inspired and that they can show their own diversity without being overshadowed.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Why did you name it She Won? And there's a whole wordplay to it. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I wanted something creative. I'm really into fantasy and paranormal stuff, so I wanted it to be kind of mystical. I love Africa, and I especially love Egypt, so I picked She Won. She Won means the mystical daughter of the Nile.
I absolutely loved it when I read about it on your magazine. That's really cool. What was the process like for you putting together your first issue? Because I'm sure there was a huge learning curve there.
It was very difficult. I didn't know how to make it. I started out with an idea. I had to have a theme. And since we were traveling and we were in Mexico at the time, I decided living local, about your local community, how you could help your local community with your business. And so I started getting pictures, and I started reaching out to people who had businesses that benefited their community. And so I reached out to them, and they were so excited, and I'm so grateful to them that they helped create Living Local. We all came in and we worked on themes and how they wanted their issue to be, what they wanted it to look like, how professional did they want it. And it all just came together, I guess. After a few months, it was ready to go.
So Ashayla Wright was actually the first person that agreed to be in your magazine, and we recently interviewed her. She's absolutely amazing. Tell me, what was the process like for you working with a fellow entrepreneur? Because she's an entrepreneur, and you became an entrepreneur doing your magazine. So what was that like, working with a fellow entrepreneur?
It was scary. She was a lot more experienced than I am, but I also knew that her career field and my career field were totally different. Right. But I learned from her a lot. I learned that to be patient. I learned how the business would work with gaining people and to work with you. I learned how to work with others in a business and professional sense. Yeah. And she has so many ideas, and she was so excited. And that really boosted my confidence in helping her.
Wow, that's amazing. I absolutely love that. See, this is pretty much why we do this, is to see you guys not just become entrepreneurs, but also see you guys working together. And I think that's really amazing. So tell me about the process of creating your digital magazine, because I'm sure you had to learn some programs or softwares, whatever necessary to make it happen. What was that process like for you?
Well, before we actually started to create She Won, we had to find a website to use it on, basically. We found JuMag, which is a wonderful website. I highly recommend that. We had to find a cover photo, and eventually we used my cousin Kanae. But before that, we used some of her old photos, and we just messed around with it. We messed around with the words. We messed around with how it was going to be angled, the colors, and everything. When it came to actually doing the article, we had to do a little bit more, because some people wanted a certain font, and some people wanted it to be very professional, but then others wanted it to be playful. After a lot of time, you get used to editing some of the words, or going out in public and seeing something like, oh, I can use this for the magazine.
That's really awesome. I love the creative process that you go through. That's really cool. So what I really would love to know is how you got to work with Creative Soul Photography. I looked at their work, and they have some amazing, amazing photography. How did you get to work with them?
Okay, honestly, it was a bit of harassment. I kept on texting them because I needed a photo. And I knew it had to be better than my last photo. It had to improve or be as great as Kanae's photo was. So I started asking around. I started with Kierce, I think her name is Kierce. But she did not reply. I started with Mocha Magazine, and they did not reply. So I was like, okay, I had to figure something out. And I stumbled across Creative Soul. I was like, yes, this is what I need. And I was just scrolling through the photos because I wasn't going to contact them and not have a picture in mind of what I wanted. And I saw this picture, and I was like, yes, this is it. And so I harassed them. I kept on contacting, and I finally got into contact with, I think it was an assistant. She sent me over to Karen, and I was like, yes, I would love to have your photo for the magazine. I give them all these. I said, you can do advertisement in the magazine if you just let me use this photo for the cover. And after about 2 weeks or so, she was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I was so happy. Like, I jumped. I was screaming. I was so happy.
Yeah, the picture is gorgeous, but I also want to say, good job on your persistence and making sure that, you didn't give up. You wanted to work with them. I think that's really just amazing. It says a lot about you, and I love that persistence. So from a legal standpoint, I'm sure that's something that you had to learn, when you're getting people's pictures in your magazine or their content, you have to get their permission. Who does that? Does your mom help you with that, or do you do that?
I do it. Wow. The first issue of the cover page was not exactly the way it was supposed to be. So Kanae is my cousin, and I asked her if I could use a picture from her, and she said, "Yeah, use the picture." And so I used it. I published it, and the photographer contacted me about the picture. She's like, I'm sorry. He was like, what, you used my picture. And I was like, yes, I used your picture. Kanae said I could use it. I'm her cousin. And he's like, well, you have to ask me. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was so apologetic because I didn't want to get in trouble. And he was like, oh, it's okay, just a warning next time. And so I got off the hook with that. But ever since then, I've been contacting, making sure that they say yes, keeping my emails, making sure I talk to some of their parents if they are too young or if they do not understand something. And I make sure that with the articles that they write it themselves, that it's not copyright. And I just make sure that everything is okay. Because these are kids and they aren't going to know exactly what's wrong or what's right. So I have to make sure.
Good job. I really admire how much work you've put into this. It's really amazing. What kind of feedback did you get after your first and second issue?
The feedback was wonderful. They were so surprised that I was able to do this in this short amount of time, and how well written it was, and how everything was put together. They said that I was really great. My cousins and my aunts were so surprised. It just felt great and empowering to show them that I could do something like this at such a young age and give them an imagination of what I could do when I'm older.
You actually have a pretty interesting living situation. Tell me a little bit about that.
My dad had a medical release of the military when I was 13, and my mom was like, we're done. I am not going to a picket fence. We are going out. We are going to travel. She's always wanted to travel. So we started off in Mexico for a month just to try it out. And we ended up loving it. And so we were like, okay, let's do this full time. We're going to do this. And my mom, she got rid of everything. The house was gone. The car was gone. All we had was the clothes on our backs, a bag full of entertainment, our suitcases, and our memory box that has everything that we've ever had since childhood. Well, all the important stuff anyway. But that stayed with my uncle. And we started traveling. We went to Mexico. We went to South America. In South America, we went to Bogota, Colombia. And in Colombia, we went to Cartagena. We went to Asia. In Asia, we went to Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam. We stopped by in Shanghai, Prague, Germany, and we lived in Hawaii for a few years. Plus, we had a road trip of 32 states that we've been to.
How has traveling changed your perspective on life? Because I would imagine just being exposed to so many different cultures, just like has to make some difference in the way you see the world.
My mom, she said something that is completely true. Traveling cures ignorance. You cannot be ignorant and travel. You see how these people live, how some people are poorer than you, how they go to school. I went to a place in Vietnam where they have to cross a river to get to school every day. I've seen how people eat, how some people don't have forks and some people do use forks, or you have to use a chopstick to eat this. I've seen the different types of foods. I've seen their cultures. Everything is different. Every person is different, and you see how their mind works.
That's amazing. So what is next for She Won?
She Won is currently doing a special edition issue. And then there is going to be a pause. We are going to pause for at least up to 2 to 3 months so I can get my bearings straight because I'm starting college, just so I can see how everything can work together. And then we are coming back with new ideas.
What advice do you have for other young entrepreneurs or just young people in general?
The best advice I can give is to put your heart in it. You're not going to succeed if you don't believe in it. If you don't like it, you're going to do an okay job. let your heart be in it. My heart is in Shiwon. I love magazines and books and anything that goes with literature. If that's not your thing, just go to whatever your thing is.
Kaya, that's fantastic advice. I absolutely love it. So for people that want to find out more about you, where can they find you?
They can find me on my Instagram account, Shiwonmag. They can find me on my email, shiwonmag@gmail.com, or they can go to my website, which will be linked below.
Awesome. We'll make sure that people can find you. Kaya, thank you so much for being on the show and for doing a feature on us in your magazine. I really, really am looking forward to seeing you grow and continue to do what you're doing because it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, just keep doing you, girl.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed Kaya as much as I did. And if you want to watch more of these episodes, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell so you'll get a notification next time we upload an awesome episode. Also, check out our social media at Juniority TV for a chance to win some free prizes from our guests. You can also check out our website at junioritytv.com. Until next time, lots of love.